Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're all doing well. It's 3:15 in the afternoon here in the UK, and it's a Scotia day. It's way too hot for me. It's boiling outside because we only get like 3 hot days a year. It's something that we in the UK can't handle very well. So for some of you guys, it would be just lukewarm, but for me, it's absolutely boiling. So yeah, there's another update. So if anybody saw my live stream from last night, very late last night, my time, CBC, they released this, what we know so far, 8.5 minutes of very interesting stuff. They also released the full interview with Lilly Jack's grandma, his the paternal line, the paternal grandma, so the bio dad's mother, Belinda, which is very interesting. And now they've released the full interview with Daniel, the stepdad. And this is really interesting. There's a couple of points here where I went, what? Say what? Like, and he didn't expand. And it's like, well, that's a bombshell. There's a bombshell. Like, what on earth is that about? So, yeah, CBC have done some good work here. So we're going to play this together. I have listened to it once. I'm going to listen to it and comment. But first, I'm going to say a couple of hellos. See who's in the chat here. We got Down Under with Love. Hello, hello. Must be a weird time for you. It's like, like middle of the night for you. Hello, Jackie and Mike. We're all hoping for a break, but not at this time. Not at this time. Just got even more questions now. After listening to this, got even more questions. Hello, Holly, Karen, Jennifer, Journey Takes a Trip, Linda, TK, hello, y'all. Two Arctic Wolves, True Crime Snoopy, Music City Mom, Cheryl, Inch Eye, Private Eye. That's cool. What else we got? Kelly, Shire, Neela, Blue Willow, CW, and all right. Hello from Scotland. I haven't heard it yet. Wow. Well, you're about to hear it now. Woo, Kimberly gifted 5 memberships. Let's see, we've got Julie, Ms. Neela. Let's have a look. Eastern Girls and Laurie. So welcome. And thank you, Kimberly. If you haven't been a member before, please go and check out the members area. It's got some interesting stuff in there. Go and check it out. All right, without further ado, I don't want to spend too long because it's absolutely boiling in this little room here. I do these live streams in the small bedroom at the back of my house, and it is boiling. I'm sweltering. Can't deal. Okay, so this is 10 minutes. I'm going to play it all and comment. I just want to pick up one thing here from that we talked about last night regarding the blanket. Listen to this.
And listen to this in the radio chatter.
Families brought us to a location there not far away that there's a piece of a blanket.
Police won't say anything about a blanket, but Martel says a piece of Lily's blanket was found near the boot print. He says both children may have undiagnosed.
So a piece of Lily's blanket was found near the boot print. And there was a boot print, a children's boot print found on near the gas pipeline, which runs kind of in the woods behind the house. And they've spent a long time searching that area. Like the last search they did, I think it was like the 17th and 18th of May, was that the last one? They spent a lot of time there around that area. But the thing that gets me, that I said last night, was I swear down that early on in the investigation, Daniel said that the blanket that was found was not the children's. Was not the children's. Wasn't the boot print found 10 feet outside perimeter from the backyard? Yeah, but there was a boot print on the pipeline. Or like there's a trail where the gas pipeline is, there's a trail. And there was a boot print found there. Why just a piece of the blanket? Well, presumably if you've walked through the woods carrying a blanket, you might have ripped it. But listen, I swear down, Daniel said that the blanket that was found was not the children's. Well, this is a clip from a CTV report from, I think this is May the 6th. The children's stepfather, Daniel Martell, said Mountie showed him shirts, a blanket, and a water bottle found during the search near Gerlach Road, but said none of the items belongs to either child. So, did they find more than one blanket? But at least I remembered correctly that the blanket was shown to Daniel, and he said it's nothing to do with Lilly and Jack. But now we're hearing that, oh, a piece of Lily's blanket was found. Could be more than one blanket. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, so this is the full interview, 10.5 minutes. Let's go.
I know the truth. I didn't kill Lilly and Jack.
It's been 6 weeks now since you've seen Lilly and Jack. I just want to ask, how are you holding up?
It's been a long 6 weeks. I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanting to know like what happened. It's been from sadness to anger at this point. And I know the RCMP and major crimes are working around the clock trying to piece everything together, and I'm grateful for that. But it always leaves the question, 6 weeks has gone by, and we know at this point they're not in the woods. And where are they?
Okay, and we know that they're not in the woods. Well, Grandma Belinda also doesn't believe they're in the woods. The lead searcher, Amy Hansen, who was interviewed for part of the What We Know So Far CBC piece, she said she thinks the children are in the woods. They just haven't found them yet because the woods are just so thick. They just haven't found them. I think they could be in the woods. I absolutely do think they could be in the woods. As I said last night, I have like 2 number 1 theories. I can't decide which one I prefer, but it is very, very possible that they could be in the woods and just not been found yet, because it happens again and again and again and again. Because I cover so many missing persons cases, I've lost count of the number of people who have been found in areas that have been searched, sometimes multiple times, and they're in a location where they should have been seen, they just haven't been. So it's very possible and incredibly difficult to find 2 small children, because you know they can get into holes and crevices and fall down things and go routes that an adult wouldn't think to go. So it's possible. However, there's so many red flags in this case, I can't discount the possibility that foul play is involved. I just can't discount it. I just can't. So I think that those 2 theories to me are equally likely. Okay.
Did you feel in the beginning that they suspected you?
Of course. The stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
You felt that from the beginning?
Yeah.
But you don't feel that now? No,
I don't feel that at all. I asked for the lie detector exam, the polygraph exam. I gave them my phone. I told them I do drug tests, because there's a lot of rumors online about a drug party. Mm-hmm. I know the person that said those rumors, and it was just to take the heat off themselves.
Wait,
Was there-
what? That was one of the things where I was like, what? So the person who spread it online that there was a drug party the night before because they saw a lot of cars in the property, they only said that to take the heat off themselves. Well, what heat was on them in the first place, given that nobody knows these people, and this random person just came online and said that they know which property it is, and they didn't know there was kids living there, and there was loads of cars there on the Thursday. But what do you mean? They only said that to take the heat off themselves. What's that about? I need to know more. What heat? Now, she just moved on. She didn't ask. And this is what's so annoying about these interviews. It's like, I know that are not interrogations. Like, I know that they're doing this for the news. But what? I need to know. I need to know. I need to know. The ocean is close by. It's not that close. They're not like on the coast. Heat from the cops, yeah, maybe. But again, why would there be heat on them? We don't know these people.
Was there any kind of party?
No.
Was there any kind of gathering that
No.
someone might have thought was a party?
No.
There were no people at the house?
No. Not the night before.
Okay, you mentioned you offered to take a polygraph test.
Yeah.
Did the RCMP take you up on that?
Yes, they did.
And how did that unfold?
That unfolded in my favor. They obviously know I wasn't lying about anything.
So they said, yep, great, thank you, come in
Yeah.
for a polygraph test.
Yeah, it took a little while to set up, and
When did you do that test?
I don't know the exact date, but that would be at least 3 weeks ago, probably.
So roughly 3 weeks after the disappearance.
Yeah.
And I think most Canadians wouldn't have any idea what's involved with that. Can you describe the process? You go in and just tell us right from the start.
We go in, sit down in a big comfy chair, and they have multiple sensory pads. You have them underneath your forearms. You have them
That's a good point. Maybe he's implying the neighbours were involved in drugs. Yeah, possibly. I mean, we could speculate all day and all night about what that means, but I was like, that was really jarring when he said that. Really jarring. Very close to the ocean, 20-minute drive, tossed off a cliff during high tide and gone forever. Okay. Well, then I live near the coast as well, even though I don't consider myself living near the coast. But okay.
Underneath your butt, and you have them underneath your feet with your shoes off. You have a sweat gland on one finger. You have a measuring instrument for blood flow that goes in and out of your hand. And you have a cuff on your arm for blood pressure to measure your pulse.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lilly and Jack?
That was the first question they asked.
Right, that lip lick. I'm sorry, that lip lick's a problem. That lip lick's a problem. I'm not a body language expert. I'm just telling you, I'm definitely not of humans. But I am of dogs. I understand dogs. A lip lick like that means a dog's nervous. So I'm wondering whether lip lick also denotes nerves in humans. Now, I made this point yesterday, and some people in the comments afterwards said, well, we don't know what his baseline is. And, you know, some people just lick their lips a lot. Okay, he doesn't lick his lips at all for the entire interview, apart from then. So I've got a problem with that lip lick. I do. And it could mean nothing. It could mean nothing. But if he was a dog, I'd be like, something about that moment made him feel really nervous. Watch it again.
Yes.
Yeah, I was extremely nervous.
And he's still nervous.
Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lilly and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you.
Yeah.
Now, maybe it's because he's recounting the nerves that he felt when he was asked that question. Because, come on, the stepdad, it is going to be nerve-wracking. It is. You could be completely innocent. You've offered to do a lie detector. They've set it up for you, and they start asking you questions about murdering kids. It's going to make anybody feel nervous. Maybe that lip lick was the recounting of the nerves he felt. Okay, that's fine. But all I'm highlighting is he doesn't do this at all for the rest of the interview.
Yeah.
What went through your mind when someone's asking you that question so point blank like that?
Your mind has a massive release of chemicals, I guess you would call them. It's like your stress levels just astronomically through the roof, and your body doesn't know what to do because it's not.
I'm actually surprised he passed then. If he had such a big stress reaction, I'm surprised he passed. Unless he had a massive stress reaction throughout the entire thing. So the baseline measures that they do, like beforehand, like they ask you like innocuous questions beforehand to get your baseline. If he's highly stressed through those, then it may not pick up the fact that he's highly stressed due to the questions he was asked. And that is one way that someone who's lying can pass a polygraph.
Not every day the way you're hooked up to machines in an interrogation room where someone asks you questions like that.
What other kinds of questions did they ask you?
All the questions pertain to the death of Lilly and Jack. Are you accessory to the murder of Lilly and Jack? They were all.
So all of the questions assumed that the children are no longer alive?
Yeah.
There were no questions at all about, did you take them somewhere? Could
No.
they be somewhere?
I agree with you, Miss B. Imagine being wrongly accused. Yeah, hugely stressful. I understand that. I get that. I do.
No.
The police have done a number of polygraph tests. They've done 53 formal interviews. Do you know who these people are?
Yeah.
That's a lot of interviews.
It is a lot of interviews. A lot of them are my family, people that live in the area. And those interviews, typically, my interview was 4 hours. And a lot of the interviews from my family were 1, 2 hours. So
Belinda said her interview was 2 hours. Cody, the bio dad, Belinda said his interview was 1.5 hours. I can't imagine there was an awful lot that Cody could tell them because he hadn't seen them since they were babies. He hadn't seen the kids for 3 years. So Jack would only have been 1. So Cody,
there's a lot.
Cody, according to Belinda, has been cleared. That they're not interested in him anymore. I don't know whether the same can be said for Malia and Daniel, though. Just because you pass the lie detector doesn't mean to say that you're off the hook. Just saying.
A lot of time taken up and they ask detailed questions.
Do you know who else actually took a polygraph test?
I mean, I do, but I'm not going to say anything that's going to impede the investigation.
Okay. When did you find out the result of your test?
Immediately right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job, you passed.
And how did that feel?
Good.
And did you feel that there was any further suspicion on you after that point, or was that sort of conclusive?
No, that was really...
Is that a bruise on his neck? There. Hold on. Yeah, I think it might be. Might just be lighting, but there, possibly. And then the scar that everyone's talking about is there. Like, when this was a brand new case, people were saying, look, he's got a scratch on his face. No, the scar was there long before this. I think when his cheeks are red, that scar stands out. So he's obviously been cut and maybe stitched at some point in the past. So Just pointing that out. But yeah, I think that's a bruise. But, you know, some people bruise really easily. So, and this is 6 weeks in. You're not going to have a bruise for 6 weeks. So, whatever that is probably not connected to anything.
When I seen the turning point for it's starting to taper off with investigators.
Do you know if Malia has taken one?
I don't know if I can say it, but I will anyway. Yes, she did take one.
Okay, she took one. Do you know the result?
No. RCMP wouldn't let tell me I asked.
You said you feel...
Okay, so we don't know whether Malia passed or not. Great. Might be a birthmark. Could be a birthmark. Like, I've got a birthmark on my side. Can't remember which side now, but I've got a birthmark and it's like white. There's like literally no pigment on there. It's weird. It's weird. My mother says it's because she drank a lot of milk when she was pregnant with me, but I don't think that matters. Like, if she drank a lot of I don't know, orange juice, would I have had an orange birthmark? You know what I mean? Anyhow.
Like everyone in the world wants to know what happened to Lilly and Jack.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think this is getting so much attention?
Well,
because there's so many red flags, that's why. And because he came out speaking every single day and he's been inconsistent. Listen, there's part of me believes Daniel. There's part of me thinks, look, he's telling the truth. He has said some stuff that's inconsistent, but he's highly stressed, and at least he's talking, at least he's there, at least he's not run away. And like Malia, and I've given him the benefit of the doubt. And then there's other times when I think, oh, come on. I can't with this guy. I can't with this guy. Oh, yeah, it is better to take one than refusing one. We'd have a lot more to say about Malia if she didn't take a polygraph. You like Daniel? I quite like him as well. I'm nothing against the guy, let's put it that way. He's just said too many things that are inconsistent. The blanket being a perfect example. That we've got May the 6th, blanket's nothing to do with Lilly and Jack, and then we get this from yesterday saying that he said that the blanket was Lily's. It could be that there's 2 blankets in play. Okay, it could be 2 blankets. But, you know, if you piece together everything that he said that's inconsistent, it's a fair few things. And each one is only small. But when you put it all together, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Just the mysterious and nature of everything and how strange everything is. The RCMP, you know, I mean, they have to keep a tight lip on everything. But,
they do, and that's true. Good.
But there's a lot more that meets the eye with the case.
Whoa, there we go. That was the bombshell. There's a lot more than meets the eye with the case. What is that about? Come on now. Gamma, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. What is that about? This is why this case has got so much attention, because you get these mini bombs that get dropped. What does he mean by that? And again, she doesn't follow up. But again, it's not an interrogation, so she doesn't have to follow up. She's just got a series of questions that she's pre-decided what she's going to ask him. And let's listen to that again, because that was like, whoa, that is, that's something else.
Everything and how strange everything is. The RCMP, you know, I mean, they have to keep a tight lip on everything. But There's a lot more that meets the eye with the case.
There's a lot more than meets the eye with the case. Well, I need that answering. Anybody? Can anybody answer that? What on earth is he talking about? He didn't volunteer more, but she just moved on. Like, I would have liked, but what? Like what? Such as. Come on, this is the highlight of the interview, and she doesn't follow it up. You might not be allowed to say no, but why say anything at all? Why not just leave it at, yeah, it's mysterious, and move on? It is a belter, you're right. It is a belter. Love to know what he means. It's a belter.
Is there something that you think the public doesn't know that you can share, that you want the public to know?
That's a hard one because I don't want to impede the investigation in any way. It is still a missing persons investigation. It hasn't pivoted to any type of criminal investigation.
Wow. I don't think so. I think actually it has. They're not going to come out and say that though.
But the kids were seen the day before. I know a lot of people didn't know that. I still see a lot of stuff online that the kids could have been missing for days. They were out of school for days, and they were seen in the Glasgow area on camera the day before disappearance in the afternoon.
Where was that?
I don't know if I can say that, but it was near the Highland Square Mall.
Was it with you?
It was with me.
I don't know what he says there. I can't make out his accent there, but it's in New Glasgow, so it's a town nearby. He clearly suspects Malia. Yeah, I think that. I think he does. But then again, how can he? Highland Square Mall. Okay. The mall in Glasgow. All right. Thank you. Highland Square Mall in New Glasgow. Yeah, how can he suspect her though? Because the story is that he was asleep. Well, they were both asleep. Malia was asleep. The baby was asleep. He was dozing in and out of sleep. Lilly kept coming in. And then 20 minutes goes by. He doesn't hear her. And then he says to Malia, where's Lilly and Jack? Or I haven't heard Lilly and Jack or something. So how can he suspect Malia? Because she was right there. So how can he suspect Malia? Think he suspects someone that none of us know about? Yeah, probably. Maybe. That's a good point. Because I think Malia's more suspicious than Daniel because she's done a runner. So, when you do a runner and people have loads of questions, you make yourself look really guilty, even though you might not be, even though you might just be struggling really, your kids have disappeared. You might be really struggling. Your mental health might be, -10, and you have to get away. But I find it highly unusual that a parent will disappear the very day after the children disappear. I find that really odd. I find that really strange. I also find it incredibly concerning that Daniel's not allowed to see any of his children. He's still not seen any of his children. Like his baby is biologically his, Meadow, and he has got 2 children from a previous relationship, and he's not seen them either. So what has Malia been telling them?
Malia and Meadow and Lilly and Jack were there too.
And are the police aware of that?
The police were aware of that since.
Do they have that video?
Yes, they do. I also talked to my coworker in the parking lot as well, and he verified that with investigators as well. So for all the speculation, they were gone days ahead of time, or they were seen the afternoon on camera before the disappearance.
Why do you think the police are asking for video dating back, you know, days before that?
Well, the reason for that is they want to see the traffic of the vehicles on the roads in the area, right? Maybe vehicles that were traveling that area a lot over the last few days prior to hand, or vehicles that, you know, weren't seen in the area, or vehicles that were seen in the area, like local people that are, you know what I mean, making frequent trips past the house, or which it's all considered evidence. I mean, the more pictures and videos is the better.
Okay, I suspected that. I think that's the reason why. They're like, they know Lily and Jack were alive and well on May the 1st. Why ask for video and dash cam and stuff like that from to the 28th? And yeah, it's to track vehicles, to see who's passing by, to see whether there's any vehicles that pass by a lot, and where do those vehicles go to, and then any new vehicles in the area. So absolutely. So I just wish that they'd asked the public for dash cam footage and trail cam footage early on, because the earlier the better. And then you don't have a situation where somebody did have footage, but they've deleted it, or it's been written over. They dropped the ball there. I've said that many times. Thank you, Neela, for the $9.99. Thank you so much. Thank you. Very kind of you.
They say they have hundreds of hours of video.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if they found anything on those videos?
I think it was up to 2 weeks ago, they had footage that they examined for evidence.
So the question is, did they find anything on those videos? But it gives a very long, convoluted answer. And I don't think he did this purposefully. I think he just kind of went off on a tangent.
There was 8 kilometers diameter out from the house. So that was after a month. That's how long it took to get footage and review it 8 kilometers out.
But they didn't ask. They didn't ask. They might have asked in the immediate vicinity early on, but they didn't ask until I think it was May 26th for dash cam from people passing by on Garlock Road. And it was May 20th when they went to Melissa Scott's place, and that's 3 miles away. So yeah, it might have taken them a month because they didn't ask initially. So what can you do?
So but what's on the video?
Okay, so that's good. She brings it back. What's on the video? Is there any evidence?
I don't know. I'm only limited by what they tell me.
How often are they in touch with you?
Investigators now, I'd say maybe once every 5 days. And usually I'm the one who calls or messages them.
And how's that changed over the course of the 6 weeks?
Well, from the beginning it was almost daily, tapering off to where it's only like once every 5 days now.
And how do you feel about that?
It's good and bad. I mean, I like to talk to them in person about any little small details I come up with, or anything I can try to bring to their attention which may help the investigation. So I don't get to see them often, so it's always over phone or messaging, and it's hard to really convey what you want to say when you're not in person. But then I also know the eye's not on me. The investigators don't see me as part of the disappearance.
How do you know that?
Well, when you're going from daily to tapering off every 5 days, I mean, I've already gave them everything on my phone. I'm the one who originally said, here, take my phone. We'll go through all my banking information. We'll go through all my stuff on my GPS from Google.
And you were offering all that up, right?
Yeah, I offered everything.
And why were you doing that?
That doesn't mean to say that they don't suspect him. They look, these investigators, just because they're not speaking to him every day now, like, you know, breathing down his neck, doesn't mean to say that he's off the hook. And because he passed a polygraph doesn't mean he's off the hook. You know, sometimes they'll let you simmer. They'll not keep badgering you. They'll just leave it, let it simmer, and then wait to see what pops off.
To show them that I want to get the investigation moving. I know I have nothing to do with any of it. A lot of speculation is you killed the kids. Just come out and say it straight as it is.
What do you think when you read that?
It's a lot of nonsense, obviously. I know the truth. I didn't kill Lilly and Jack. And I just think a lot of people online they're seeking drama. That's the main thing. Everybody's allowed their own opinion, like I said before, but it's hard on the people that were actually there and missing the children. Still haven't got to see any of my kids, including Lilly and Jack, and that's been really tough, going from a family of 7, including my other 2 kids that live in Halifax now, going from a family of 7 in the blink of an eye, your family's ripped apart and you're left alone.
And look, if he's innocent, if Daniel has got nothing to do with this, it must be agonizing for him. It must be, going from, you know, having 3 kids around the house, and Malia, who said she couldn't live without him. You know, she's all over Facebook saying that she couldn't live without him, to, you know, Lilly and Jack going missing and Malia doing one, just disappearing. How? I can't get over that. It's just the bizarrest thing. I can't get over the fact that Malia left. Can't get over that. And why is he not allowed to see his own kid? Now, it could well be that CPS are not involved in the other 2 kids who he says live in Halifax now, which is, you know, a considerable drive away. It's not like over the other ends of the earth, but, you know, it's a fair ways away. So he can't see them frequently. But Meadow, he's not even had any supervised visits with Meadow. Why? Why? I don't understand. Yeah, postpartum depression. Yeah, possibly. Anyhow, just wanted to hop on and go through that. I'm going to get off here, though, because I am absolutely boiling in this room. I am so hot in this room. So thank you all for joining me. I'm going to go and find a cooler spot. Boiling. We only have 3 hot days a year, so, you know, we're not used to it. We're not used to it here in the UK. So thank you all for joining me. We had, beginning of the stream, we had Kimberly who gifted 5 memberships. We had 10 from Gamma and $9.99 from Neela. So thank you so much for those donations. Thank you, as always, to the mods. And I'll be back tomorrow, most probably with a recorded video tomorrow rather than a live stream. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon. Bye, guys.